How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ruffled Rowlet, and welcome back to a brand new video, guys. Today we've got some rumors and leaks to take a look at. Let's start things off with this right here. There's new updates from the leaker regarding DLC Part 1. Now, the leaker that we're referring to here is specifically Riddler Coup. Riddler Coup is a legitimate leaker that has leaked things in the past, and guess what? We have ourselves some theories about what he's been saying. So first things first, let's take a look at the theories here from Makio and J Roses, or PokeOS. There are a few people that work on a website where they post all kinds of things about Pokemon. And basically, here's what they said. Is Ogerpon's mask able to change typing? Are the Loyal Three loyal, and are they not really heroes and have driven Ogerpon out of town? Basically, here's what was posted. So, Riddler Coup has changed his name to Mage Coup X, and he basically had this bunch of these like emojis and whatnot. He had this emoji with a bunch of stars in the eyes, which could be related to Ogerpon itself, which then points towards like two masks, a Oni mask, and scuba diving gear and whatnot. And then you have Jan here who said, if anyone doesn't know why star eyes mean Ogerpon, you might want to look closer. And then of course we have that kind of star-shaped design on the top of its head. Then absolutely said the mask can change typing, question mark, grass type. And then he had, I guess Riddler Coup, just doing a thinking emoji and a winky emoji, implying that yes, it could be possible, based on the design we see right here. You guys can literally see, it looks like it could possibly, if they did something like this, have multiple different typings, which would be really cool if the mask can change that. Then, of course, we have the Loyal Three, where he has a picture of a monkey, a dog, as well as a chicken of sorts. And then all of those have superhero versions of them that are on the side there, but he has an X in the middle, which could imply that they're not actually heroes. And here we have these masks that have been spotted in the game, masks that are resembling the Loyal Three. They are beloved by the people of the village as heroes that protected the land of Kitakami in the past. But he then says here, question mark, and then what are those two that lead to specifically, well, the Ogerpon? Someone told the Loyal Three to hunt down and drive away Ogerpon from town, which would imply that it possibly isn't even a bad Pokemon. Then here, in general, though, like, I don't really know if there's really much else to say in regards to this specific post, but yeah, it's an interesting situation where it's possible that Ogerpon is actually the good guy. The Loyal Three are technically not good, or they were tricked into chasing away the Pokemon of Ogerpon out of town. We don't really know exactly just yet, but there's a bunch of more theories about this, and we're just going to go through them here in a row about different things that are being said. So, I don't know if I would do this, because right now, almost everything has been vaguely leaked about not only DLC 1, but also DLC 2. And this comes after Eclipse here tweeted out the following, which was, I'll wait till the end of Pokemon Worlds and possibly it presents before making an updated recap of all the real leaks. There's so much to say, and he says, I don't really know if I would do this right now. Almost everything vaguely leaked has, but about not only DLC 1, DLC 2, which is months away. So I would say if you want to have fun speculating, now is the time. After Worlds plus these leaks, we may have Sword and Shield DLC situation where the only thing we didn't know about were the two horses and their fusions, lol. Just my thoughts though. Play the game how you want. But of course, yes, it does feel like a lot of the stuff has already been leaked. Now it's just waiting time for when we get the official presents to reveal more of the Pokemon that are returning and stuff along those lines, which we're still waiting for. But let's continue. So, next thing here is potential spoilers. I think I may have halfway fell for a Coup misdirect with this riddle. It was posted directly after he was talking about new DLC Pokemon, so naturally you'd think this would be the same topic. However, he had even categorized the new Mon riddles as a group of 3, when instead this is on its own. When I took it out of the context, I realized that the answer could be right in front of us. This riddle is about the plot of the DLC. Just like how his emoji riddles from yesterday seemed like riddles about forms, but were probably about certain Pokemon roles in the plot. He clearly states in the follow-up reply, we thought the Tale of Momotaro inspiration was only for DLC 1, but actually the Pokemon versions of this tale will continue out on into DLC 2. Not every riddle has to be about new Pokemon and forms, but then again, sometimes they are too, lol. I'm going to be building on this theory for the next few days. And then, of course, this is from the fact that he posted the other day saying, spoilery, I've been over this a million times now, unless there's a new wooden sign Pokemon. The only concrete thing I can come up with is that the Oni Ogre they are chasing in this depiction isn't exactly Ogerpon. From the moment I saw saw that silhouette, I've said that it actually looks nothing like Ogerpon, which actually, now you mention it, maybe that's what it's supposed to hint at. Not that Ogerpon was chased out by them, but that whatever this thing is, maybe pretended to be Ogerpon, to get Ogerpon hated by the villagers and hated by the Loyal Three. Maybe that's the reason for it. By the way, So this looks like nothing like Ogerpon, so maybe that's why Ku is hinting at. Maybe it is relevant in the second DLC too, or maybe this riddle has something to do with the Ogerpon symbol, its connection to types like lanterns, and it carries over to the indigo disc somehow. Maybe Terapagos is related to this Ogerpon type and form too. I don't know. That's all I got. And then, of course, we had a tweet from Pokemon UK who said, we're so excited to suit up and explore the Terrarium in DLC Part 2, the Indigo Disc. The only problem is, we haven't even gotten the first DLC, and they're talking about this stuff. Like, you know, it's a bit random. We haven't even had a DLC yet released for the first part, so talking about Part 2 is a bit weird. Then we also, of course, have some other stuff here. Spoilery, this riddle is 99% about the new Pokemon because Ku literally said new Pokemon, but I love this idea. I'm still hoping that these two lost Datamined items have some importance in the Scarlet and Violet DLC. Being used as special illusion stones or forms changing stones like this would be amazing. Basically, these two stones were found in the files of Scarlet and Violet, and we don't really know exactly what they are. And this relates all back to this theory we had about like a past and present Pokemon, somewhat based on give or take the Black City and the White Forest. And we still have these two stones, these two rocks that are in the game that have yet to be explained. They're in the files, but they have not been actually added on top of. They haven't really explained them further. So we're gonna have to wait and see what happens from that. Either way, that's that. Let's move on to the next thing. So here's again that riddle from earlier with the star eyes. Now, these are proper leaks. Don't think too hard, but also don't forget to look at the little details, and then they should become easier to solve. Interesting that Ku decided to leak these things now. Maybe these are the things that we'll see very soon in the upcoming Pokemon Presents. I'll tell you this has got me hype. Can't wait to finally get my hands on the teal masks. And of course, in this case, yeah, I mean, we just have the same riddles. He goes on and says, spoilers, this number is one is particularly interesting and kind of lines up with some other numbers we've seen before. That +1 though. So what is he talking about here? Well, there was this one, 7 + 8 + 1. Which is one of the riddles we've seen. And he says it lines up properly. +1 though. As for shipping Rayford with someone, I have no idea. I'm guessing Serrano because he's the only adult from DLC that we know of, or maybe it's with another adult from Paldea. But basically here it just says ship, and then it's one of the teachers, which you guys may remember her from the specifically if you're doing the quest to get the 4 the 4 legendaries in Scarlet and Violet. Like the Ruinous 4 or whatever they're called. I honestly don't remember anymore what their tagline is. And then he also said 19th, which is interesting. That could mean a lot of things. That could be the release date of the game. So for example, like Blaze there says September 19th, October 19th, August 19th, anything is possible, or that's when the next presents will happen, or that's when the next reveal will happen. It can mean a lot of different things, or 19th could be something totally unrelated, but he says last but certainly not least, 19th, the obvious answer that is the date that the presents or the Teal Mask release date, or it could always be something else. Again, we don't know. That's the problem. We have no clue what this could be in relation to. It is really strange. But we're gonna have to wait and see if anything from that develops. But he goes on and says another thing here, which is actually about a post from Ogerpon. He says, I was also working on a breakdown post of the layout of Kitakami similar to this. So let's take a look at these actual posts first. This is Ogerpon doing, or Yoridon, who's basically analyzing the whole map, saying, analyzing the area of Kitakami because of the trailers, it feels like there isn't much to it. You can find almost every scene right in the overview shot of the mountain. The only spot we've seen that's kind of hidden is where the Oricorio are tucked off to the side. So basically, if you look right here, you got the orchard is in the left side there, the Mosui town, the festival area is up there in the mountains, and for the most part, it seems like we can easily find these spots with only like a minimal amount that hasn't really been shown. And even this area here, where you see the Oricorios, I feel like it's got to be somewhere up here, like he's actually pointing at. It's got to be in that zone over there. But I feel like there isn't really much around this mountain. It feels like it's pretty empty. He continues on though and says, so here's about what I believe the edge of the playable map is, plus the rice fields south of the town. I don't think it extends much past there. Ultimately, I think we've just about seen all the points of interest outside of the mountain. Big question is what's in it, right? Would it be a bit more interesting if you could enter at least most of the buildings in the town? But given Scarlet and Violet's track record, yeah, it is Scarlet and Violet, you could probably enter one at most, even at that, geez. And everything else is outdoors. Speaking of, looks like our pit stop trio is missing its Pokemart, which is interesting actually if you think about it. Yeah, your pit stop doesn't actually have a Pokemart, but I guess you could buy it from her maybe, or that's a bit, well, actually that's a bit odd if you think about it. But either way, so what he has to say here specifically is But man, Yuri did such a great job than me just rambling on about where this and that is. So check out the quoted post tweet. So yeah, just mostly going on about that. I'm actually begging that we'll actually be able to go into a few buildings and possibly just maybe do a little fetch/side quests for NPCs. What we will actually do in Kitakami and the DLC in general is the biggest question to me, which is true. We don't even know what we're going to be doing in this DLC. What's the goal? What's the purpose? What are we trying to achieve? What are we doing? Like, there's not really a lot of details about that aspect of the actual DLC. We continue on to the next thing, though, which is this one right here from Otopak, who says, do you remember the Max mushrooms from the Isle of Armor? They can change a Dynamax Pokemon into a Gigantamax form, and the Kitakami's apples can do the same thing with terrestrialization to switch with a Terramask form, which would be really freaking cool if that's the case here. We'll have to wait and see if that's going to end up happening, though. But shout out to Otopak for this theory right here. Really sick one. I'm going to actually go and give this one a like and a retweet. And then we're going to jump over to the final thing. So there are 23 new designs. So 7 plus 8 plus 1. So he says 23 new designs for Scarlet and Violet DLC, and now maybe 22 for the Scarlet and Violet DLC. It adds up, but I'm actually... so the Sword and Shield one had 23. But I'm literally on my knees praying that I've got this wrong. Big disappointment for me personally, which is 100% because I set my expectations too high. I really think the Scarlet and Violet DLC should surpass the Sword and Shield DLC in every way. Let's see if there are any surprises. This from Ku the Riddler again, saying 7 plus 8 plus 1, and then 6 plus 1 plus X. And then, of course, we have a kind of a thingy down here. The thing for me is that I didn't even need more than like 3 new Pokemon DLC. What I wanted more than anything is exactly what my friend here says below. A few new Pokemon, but the focus would be more around 20 Terraforms, which would be forms that actually change a decent amount, like Tandemouse to Mousehold, to make Terrastall a better mechanic, but who knows? Who knows what it'll be like now. And yeah, this is basically what's being said here. Agree, lol. To be honest, the only thing I can really want from DLC is exclusive terraforms, like to make terrestrialization feel more complete. Ku basically confirmed it a few months ago back, but he's hardly mentioned it since, so I'm a bit skeptical. What do you think? But yeah, I agree. I would like there to be terraforms. I think it would be cool. It would round out and, like he says, finish off the terrestrialization, like, concept or feature or gimmick, right? The same way that Megas were Megas, the way they are, right? With an actual change to a specific certain few Pokemon, making them a bit more special. Same way that, Dynamaxing did it by introducing Gigantamaxing to make certain Pokemon stand out a bit more. I would love if that's the case here, that we could get the same thing, but we're gonna have to wait and see. But that's pretty much it for today's video. Thank you all for watching, and peace out.